Jake here for American Trucks, and today I'm taking a look at the Morimoto Gen 2 XB LED headlights with black housings and clear lenses, fitting 2019 and newer Ram 1500s with factory non-projector headlights. If you're looking for the ultimate upgrade to your Ram's lights, then look no further than the Gen 2 XBs from Morimoto. These combine all the best tech from the previous generation XBs into a sleek, stylish package that will turn heads and show the road ahead in the best possible light. When it comes to automotive lighting, you really can't go wrong with anything Morimoto sells. They spend a lot of time and effort in developing their products, and it shows from the moment that you take it out of the box. Every time I get to handle a set of lights from them, I'm always impressed and excited because frankly, they're just always impressive. And these Gen 2 series XBs take things a little bit further than the original XBs, providing you with better light output and some more technology. Now, the first thing you'll probably notice is the clean, modern-looking design. You've got the large projectors on the outside with the 4 Ice Cube LED projectors on the inner edge of the light. These make a statement, and they really do a lot to upgrade the look of your front end. Now, they do have a very OEM type of look to them. You'd be forgiven for thinking these were a factory option or some kind of special package on your Ram. But unlike a lot of aftermarket headlights, these also vastly outperform your factory headlights. Needless to say, they are extremely bright. 1,170 lux for the low beams compared with 270 lux from the OEM halogen low beams. So that alone is a huge improvement. And the first gen XBs were already worlds better than the OEM headlights, and these take things a step further. These are absolutely the undisputed category king when it comes to headlight upgrades. Those large projectors that we were just talking about on the outside, they're going to function as your main beams with the 4 Ice Cube LEDs here towards the intersection. They're going to pull double duty as your daytime running lights and also part of your high beams. They provide a clean, crisp white light cast way down the road, and it's going to be a nice cutoff, and it's going to light up a lot more of the environment for you, making it both easier and safer for you to drive at night, on top of them looking cool in the daytime. Now, adding to that look are some extra LED strips. You've got a lower strip down here, and that's going to light up white. That functions as part of your daytime running light in conjunction with those 4 Ice Cube LEDs. Similar again to what you would get on an optional OEM headlight. And that top strip up here, that is going to be your turn signal, so that lights up amber. And like other offerings from Morimoto, you have the option to run those turn signals as sequential or full on, full off. It's rather easy to change, just changing up the way something's plugged in, so it's very simple if you want to switch it up. Now, these are also still fully compliant as well, so they meet or exceed all SAE, DOT, and FMV SS108 standards, and they do have integrated adjusters on the back to get everything aimed and aligned properly. Construction here is also first rate, as you might expect. You've got ABS plastic comprising the housings, both inner and outer, with UV-resistant polycarbonate lenses. And the gloss black housings on the inside and all those LEDs, they look and perform great, and they're going to continue to do so for years to come. Now, those main beams use Morimoto's proprietary Korea Optic by LEDs with Osram 5000K LEDs for the LED strips. So again, these are all going to be super bright, and they're going to last you a while. Inside the housings and on the back queue, you get a little peek of the die-cast aluminum heat sinks. That's going to help keep everything cool and working well. Now, these are also designed to be plug and play, so you don't get any hyper flashing, flickering, error codes, or radio interference. Everything you have is right there and ready to go. There's only one set of wires that you got to run and plug in, but it's very easy. We'll talk about that momentarily. And back here, I also want to point out you've got those integrated adjusters that we were just talking about, keeping everything nice and street legal. However, as you might expect, given all of what we just talked about, these do not come cheap. And the set, as you see them here, is going to run you about $1,750. And that does make them one of the most expensive in the category. But the quality, the functionality, the lighting output, and the fact that these are pretty much a plug and play operation, I think really speaks for itself. So while yes, they are expensive, you are getting a great package that's not only going to look good, but it's going to be a much better performing setup as well. I've been holding this backwards because now we get to talk about installation, and that is going to come in at an easy 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and these should only take you about an hour to complete. Now, like we were talking about a few moments ago, these are designed to be totally plug and play. So while this may look intimidating, it's really just a couple of plugs that you've got to do here. There is no actual wiring, cutting, or crimping required. You only have one set of wires that you got to run, and again, these plug right in, so there's nothing really that you have to do other than just route a couple of wires. But to show you what's involved, let's head over to the install bay now.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a clip remover tool, some zip ties, needle nose pliers, a pair of scissors or diagonal cutters, a T20 and T25 Torx drivers, a 10mm ratcheting S-wrench, 8 and 10mm sockets, and a microfiber towel. What's up guys? Today we're installing a set of headlights on our Ram. First we're going to watch a quick little uninstall video for removing your stock headlights, and I'll meet you right back here for the install.
So for this install, you're going to need to pop your hood, remove your upper rad cover, the grill, and some of the surrounding trim. It's a pretty simple process. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. So let's get started. So we're going to start by removing our upper rad cover. There's a bunch of plastic clips that need to be removed, so I'm going to use my plastic clip removal tool and pop the heads of them open. And then once I get those all removed, I can pull the panel off. And we're gonna pull this panel right off. The next piece we need to remove is the headlight trim and grille trim here on the top of the vehicle. It's a combination of a pop clip and 10mm screws. So I'm gonna use my clip tool once again and a 10mm socket to pull all of these out, and then I can just remove this piece from the vehicle. Next, I'm going to use my 8mm socket to remove some of the screws here on the inner wheel well and pull the liner back to expose a little bit more hardware that's hiding behind the liner so I can get this panel off that surrounds the headlight. So now that I have the liner pulled back, I've exposed this 10mm bolt here inside the wheel well liner, and I'm going to use my 10mm on a ratchet and just pull that out. Now I'll just repeat this process on the other side. Next, I'm going to need to remove my grill. There are 3 10mm bolts at the bottom of either side of the grill, and there are 4 across the top. I'll just use my 10mm socket on my small impact gun, remove all of those screws, and pull the grill off. So now that I have my grill removed, I can go ahead and start unbolting and unhooking my headlights. I have a clip here at the top as well as a 10mm bolt. And then I have a 10mm bolt here on the side from the fender, and I'll just use my 10mm socket and my clip tool and pull those out, and then I can unhook my headlights. It's a little hard to see, but I'm just gonna unplug my headlight connectors from the back. Just push down on the tabs to release them, and then you can pull the headlight out.
So before we install our new headlights, we're gonna have to transfer over a couple brackets from our stock headlight over to our new one. For our lower bracket, we have 5 T25 Torx bolts that will take a T25 Torx driver to get out. And then for our upper clip, we have 2 T20 Torx bolts that will grab a T20 Torx driver to remove. So now 3 of our bolts are right at the bottom of our headlight, and then we have 1 on each side here. So we'll grab that T25 Torx driver and get these out. And then we can pop our lower bracket off, flip that around, and grab our T20 Torx driver to remove the 2 bolts for our upper bracket. And now if we flip around our headlight and get our upper bracket, we have our 2 bolts up top and then 1 tucked away at the bottom. Now we're using that T20 Torx driver to get these bolts out. And then we'll pop off our bracket as well. So now we can grab our bracket from our stock headlight and transfer it over. We have these 2 cutouts that will line up with tabs on the bottom of our headlight. We'll slide that into place, and then we can start our bolts. Then we'll get the 2 bolts at the sides. And then we can flip our headlight around and reinstall our top bracket, and then switch to our T20 Torx driver to reinstall our 3 bolts. So now that we have everything transferred over onto our new headlight, we have this one connector here with the purple and orange wire. If we plug this in, that'll be a solid turn signal. If we disconnect it, it'll be a sequential turn signal. For our purposes, we're gonna make it sequential, so I'm gonna disconnect this. And now we can get this installed onto the truck. So now before we get our headlights installed into the truck, we need to run our wire harness. Now I've got this laid out kind of how it'll go. We have a connector that's shorter that'll go to the driver's side, and a longer wire that's gonna run over to the passenger. And then we have our fuse tap that we're gonna be installing into the F38 fuse in the fuse box. So we'll pull that fuse out and put this one in its place. So now we can push on both clips to pop our fuse box cover off. Now you can use the top of the box to find the F38 fuse, which is gonna be this 10 amp right here. So we'll grab a pair of needle nose pliers to pull that fuse out, and then we can press our fuse tap in there in its place. And then we can reinstall our cover. So now we can clean up our wiring. So we have our shorter connector going to our driver's side, and then we can bunch up all of this excess and use a zip tie. And then to trim off the excess, you can use a pair of scissors or diagonal cutters. So So now we can run our longer wire over towards our passenger side. You're gonna wanna avoid anything moving or hot. So I'm just gonna follow our cross member. Put a zip tie down around there. And use those scissors or diagonal cutters once again. And then we can keep running our wire over towards our passenger side headlight bucket. And then we'll take another zip tie. So now we're ready to install our new headlights. So we'll plug in our 3 connectors. All these connectors are different, so you can't mix them up. And then we'll slide our new headlight into place. Next, we can reinstall our 2 bolts. And we'll take our 10mm socket to tighten these down. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can reinstall our grille. Next, we can reinstall our 4 bolts at the top of our grille. And then we'll take our 10mm socket to tighten these down. Next, we can reinstall our upper trim. Now we can reinstall our 6 bolts per side. And we'll take our 10mm socket to tighten these down. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. And tighten that down with a 10mm socket. Now we can reinstall our radiator cover. Next, we can reinstall our 6 push clips per side. And now we can do that same thing on this side. So next we can come to the lower corners of our grille. We have 2 longer bolts and a shorter bolt. The shorter one's going to go on the outside and the longer ones are going to go towards the inside. And then we'll grab our 10mm socket to tighten these down. And now we can reinstall our plastic cover. And we'll do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can reinstall that bolt that sits right here. Now it's going to be hard to see. Get it through our hole. Start threading that into place. You can thread that in most of the way by hand. And then I'm going to be taking this angled ratcheting wrench to tighten that the rest of the way down. And then we can replace our fender liner and reinstall our 3 bolts. Next, we can grab our 8mm socket to tighten these all down. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Morimoto Gen 2 XB LED headlights with black housing and clear lens for your 2019 and newer Ram 1500 with factory non-projector headlights. Thank you for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.